Hello, and welcome to the Well-Read Monocle. Today, we are turning the pages of a truly harrowing and magnificent work of historical fantasy, Between Two Fires by Christopher Buehlman. Set against the backdrop of the Black Death in 1348, this is not merely a tale of sickness and war, but a theological thriller where the war between heaven and hell has spilled out onto the muddy, plague-ridden roads of medieval France. It is a story of redemption, horror, and the enduring flicker of hope in a world that believes God has turned his face away. Let us step into this dark landscape and journey from the ruins of Normandy to the papal palaces of Avignon. Part 1, The Unlikely Trio. The story begins in October, 1348. The world is ending. The Great Mortality, or the Plague, is sweeping through France, killing serf and noble alike. But in this novel, the plague is not just a disease, it is a weapon used by the fallen angels to destroy humanity and force God's hand. We are introduced to our protagonist, Thomas. Once a knight of Picardy, he is now a disgraced brigand, excommunicated by the church and hardened by the horrors of the 100 Years' War. He is a man stripped of his land, his title, and his honor, surviving by robbing the dead and the desperate. In a desolate barn in Normandy, Thomas encounters a young girl named Delphine. She is an orphan, her parents recently taken by the sickness. But Delphine is no ordinary child. She speaks to angels, or perhaps they speak to her. She possesses a terrifying, innocent certainty that she has a mission. She must travel south to Avignon, the seat of the Pope, to deliver a message. Thomas initially tries to abandon her, but after saving her from a group of violent thieves, men he once rode with, he finds himself bound to her. They are soon joined by a third companion, Père Matthieu. Matthieu is a village priest who has lost his flock to the plague. He is a drunkard and a sinner, tormented by his own failings, yet he clings to his faith with a desperate sort of loyalty. Together, this broken trinity, the thief, the mystic, and the drunkard, sets out across a dying France. Part 2, The Journey and the Monsters. As they travel toward Paris, it becomes clear that the apocalypse is quite literal. They are not just facing starvation and bandits, they are facing hell itself. The fallen angels have begun to twist the world, creating abominations from the dead and the living. In a terrifying sequence at a river town, they encounter a monster, a massive, serpentine beast with a human hand on its tail, that is devouring the townspeople. Thomas, regaining a glimmer of his knightly courage, battles the creature in the water. It is a brutal, visceral fight, and Thomas kills the beast, but he is gravely wounded by its poisonous spines. He is saved only by Delphine's miraculous intervention. She uses the stone hand of a broken statue of the Virgin Mary to heal him, a moment that solidifies the priest Matthieu's belief that the girl is a saint. They continue to Paris, but the great city is a necropolis. The streets are silent, save for the dying and the desperate. Here, the supernatural horror escalates. In the workshop of a woodcarver named Jehan, they are besieged by a stone statue of the Virgin Mary that has been possessed by a demon. It demands entry, mimicking the cries of a dying infant, before attacking them with crushing force. Amidst this chaos, Delphine leads them to the Jewish quarter. She frees a Jewish man and a spice merchant from the stocks, an act of mercy in a merciless city. In return, the Jewish man gives her a wooden case containing a relic, a simple iron spearhead. It is implied to be the spear of Longinus, the weapon that pierced the side of Christ. This is the weapon they must carry to Avignon. Part 3, The River and the War in Heaven. Realizing the roads are too slow, the group travels south to the River Seine to build a raft. They are forced to secure passage with a band of river pirates. The journey downriver is fraught with tension. The pirates are ruthless, led by a captain who mocks God and religion. Yet, even here, Thomas's prowess as a warrior earns him a begrudging respect. However, the truce does not last. The pirates turn on them, attempting to rob and kill them in their sleep. A bloody skirmish ensues on the raft, leaving the pirates dead and our trio battered but alive. As they drift closer to Avignon, the spiritual war manifests in the sky. They witness a battle between angels and demons, vast, terrifying shapes blotting out the stars. The demons, described with grotesque features like lions' mouths and insect wings, are hunting Delphine. They know she carries the weapon that can turn the tide. In a heartbreaking sequence near Auxerre, the demons descend. They tear trees from the earth and fling carts like toys. In the chaos, Thomas is separated from the others, and he watches as a being of pure light, an angel, intervenes to save Delphine, fighting off the dark shapes in a display of cosmic violence that leaves the landscape scarred. Part 4, Avignon and the Last Stand. They finally arrive in Avignon, a city of wealth and corruption, where the church is hoarding food while the people starve. The Pope, Clement VI, is portrayed as a man terrified and besieged, surrounded by cardinals who may no longer be men at all. Delphine reveals the truth: the demons have infiltrated the highest levels of the church. They are wearing the skins of men, inciting war and suffering to feed on humanity's despair. The climax takes place within the papal palace. Delphine and Thomas, disguised, infiltrate a grotesque feast where the nobility indulge in debauchery while the world burns. The demons reveal themselves, casting aside their human disguises. The Pope is being manipulated by a demon posing as a cardinal. Thomas, armed with the holy spear and his own sword, faces the leaders of the fallen. It is a battle of impossible odds. Thomas is a man fighting gods. He strikes at the entities with everything he has, but he is outmatched. In a moment of devastating brutality, Thomas is mortally wounded, his arm torn from his body. But his sacrifice buys time. Delphine, channeling a power far greater than herself, confronts the darkness. The spear finds its mark. The heavens open, and the angelic host descends to reclaim the stronghold. The demons are driven down into the earth and the river, their hold on the world broken. In the aftermath, the city of Avignon is in ruins, shaken as if by a great earthquake. Thomas is found among the dead, tossed into a cart. But he is not dead. In a moment of grace, he wakes. He is broken, missing an arm, but he is alive. He searches for Delphine, but she is gone. The girl who led him through hell has vanished, her task completed. The book ends on a quiet, cyclical note. Months later, Thomas has returned to the simple life of a laborer in the north. He walks down a road in Normandy with 3 friends, much like the brigands he traveled with at the start. They come to a barn. Inside, they find a young girl. It is Delphine. She wakes in a tree, disoriented, believing it is still summer, before the worst of the horror began. Thomas looks at her, and she looks at him. The darkness has passed. They have been given a second chance, a life after the end of the world. Between Two Fires is a brutal, beautiful meditation on faith. It suggests that even when the heavens are silent, and the world is filled with monsters, the courage of a few broken people is enough to hold back the dark. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I hope you enjoyed this summary of Christopher Buehlman's masterpiece. Until next time, keep reading.